Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. I've enjoyed using Anchor. It is easy to maneuver. The followers have told me that it's easy to download and easy to follow. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it. Go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Healing Poetic Podcast. This is episode 5, and I am your host, Keya McLean. I want to talk about how we oftentimes forget what it was like to be a child, to dream, to imagine, to have no fear, really. I remember dreaming was something that I did often as a child. You know, most adults around us called it imagination. And some of us have a more vivid imagination than others, but an imagination still the same. Going deep in the crevices of our mind and our thoughts of creativity to pull out every dream. And somewhere, somehow, we stop dreaming. We start concentrating on things that seem more important. And we've carried some disappointment and setbacks and heartache with us, and it seems impossible to us as adults to dream again. Part of my journey of healing took me back to that child who dreamed. Took me back to the little girl who imagined and really believed in the power of her imagination. I went back to that little girl who had no doubt, who felt like she would do great things. But at some point, I rejected that little girl and all of her dreams. And although it was based upon various reasons, I buried her for years. And when she resurfaced, it was such a joy to see the smile again, to feel happy again. Because it wasn't just a dream that I didn't think I could accomplish. Now, all the things that contributed to my imagination had to come to surface again. I allowed myself to feel all the emotions individually and then just strengthen them again. So all the things that contributed to me stopping my imagination, stopping my dreaming, like doubt. I said, doubt, you must go. I can do all things. I've been given a gift that is unique to me. So there's no place for you here, doubt. I had to eliminate doubt. I had to talk doubt out of my life. I had to refute doubt. I had to kick doubt out the door. You're not welcome in this space any longer, doubt. And then I moved to shame, because I have made decisions that have caused me some pain and discomfort. But I learned valuable lessons, and that my shame can turn into healing and peace for myself and others. So I took the shame and I said, you will not reside over my mind, over my peace, over me moving forward anymore. So shame, you are no longer welcome here. There's no space for you any longer. And then I moved to regret. I needed that to happen to understand myself more. I needed to understand regret. Negative words, they no longer had value. I don't even accept them from others or myself. I don't accept negativity in any form or fashion any longer. So with each step of cutting off those things that contributed to me ending my dreaming, ending my imagination, all of those things that contributed, doubt, shame, regret, negativity were just, sounds like a lot, but those were just a few things actually. I had to release a lot of things individually. I had to attack them one by one. I had to release them one by one. Give myself the grace that I deserved, and recognize that dreaming and having an imagination is not just for kids. It's not for the little girl that had pigtails. It was, and it continues to be a process to release those things. Because every now and then, those things try to creep themselves back in. They try to come back in and say, Keya, you can't do that. You failed at it already. Remember, nobody came to your show when you started. You started off with 3 or 4 people in the room. Nobody's going to come. Then what will happen? Somebody negative will come in your space, and they'll try to talk you out of it. Oh, you know you can't do that. You don't have the money for that. People won't show up. Those are the naysayers and the doubters. And those are people that I don't have space for them in my life. So I just continue to pull more of the Keya that existed back then out daily. I'm pulling out more smiles and happiness and peace to the surface. And I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work daily to bring that little girl back, to recall the dreamer in me, to remember the importance